welcome to your astrological transit forecast report. This is the Peace Dealer, and I hope you gain the utmost of quality from this report. I'm glad to see we're born with your rising in Aries. You see you have Chiron here. You're going through a Chiron return. You have Saturn in Capricorn. You have Saturn in Cancer opposite your moon in Capricorn, which is beautiful. Especially when you take into account your moon is on your MC. And so with the moon on your MC, that literally puts you in a position to feel accordingly the very powerful nature of your legacy. So you're someone who will always be in touch with and in tune with their legacy. Okay. And this definitely puts you in a position opposite Saturn to expressly capture how the integrity of how sincerely you hold space in your own home and the seriousness of karmic lessons and ancestral power you've inherited from your family strengthens and enables you to maintain integrity of your own soul and how you take action to align yourself to the integrity of what you're meant to accomplish. And so your soul is linked with this sense of purpose towards your path. While Neptune is connected to your destiny with the North Node, using the resources of your attitude and the way you think in order to create a new way of life and religion transcendent with your clairvoyant abilities. So one, why is this important? This forms a very major grand cardinal cross. Chiron is almost the trigger and key with which with Mars you shoot forward towards the social. And this is where I have to express and explain, you're an alien, my friend. You have an alien construct. You have one of the more powerful ones. At the end of the sign, you literally have Uranus on your sun, and Pluto's in the same sign. So you are a Uranian power alien and a Pluto power alien. Your chart is giving me chills. Let me tell you that. You have the ability to destroy that which isn't built on truth. You understand the true nature of death, sex, power, and rebirth. Perform psychic surgeries, perform exorcisms, and you'll see more in this article. Uranian power, which you're closer to, can channel higher frequency beings, form higher conscious communities, shock others into reality. And because this is like the closest point you have here, you focus the totality of the integrity of your character as an original directly towards others. You are here to innovate the quality of relationships and you awaken partnerships. I can imagine you're one of the most intelligently genius people alive. Yeah, stupid people will think you're crazy AF because of the eccentricities you reflect towards others and their inability to overcome their ego, which you will trigger mercilessly in very witty and provocative ways. But it also speaks to the definition of how brilliantly you innovate and assertively you take action with other people. If this was a Libra rising, the social aspect of your personality would map how you personify yourself. But as an Aries rising, you bring this vulnerability to the instrument of healing that you represent in order to balance partnerships with other people in the most unconventional ways. This is super badass. I'm going to be completely honest, because once again, I've never really seen a Libra stellium this potent, and I've read a lot of charts. So I want to speak to the Saturn opposition to the moon, because this is I actually have Saturn on the moon in Cap. So to see this opposition is very key. You can probably feel emotionally constipated. This will always also represent outside influences that seek to undermine different facets of you. And it's not always a bad thing. At its best, it could be a challenge. At its worst, it's straight up manipulation because of the intimidation where you exist outside the box. Like you don't even exist in real life. Like you only exist in science fiction or fantasy, but you're real. You're not just like an alien. Like you are the quintessential element of this artist that brings out the greater talent of people's characters. You polish how raw their identities are. So as an original, as the warrior, you have the vibration of incredible balance. You are the great artist, the Capricorn Moon Libra Sun. And this puts you in a position to very powerfully and realistically focus a lot of your assertion with Venus in its dignity, ruling your 7th house, create an innovative sense of true beauty towards anyone who you connect with. Okay. I even think Jupiter being in your 12th counts for the small glitches of interference that in unseen ways will get in your way of connecting with people. Case in point, me not even knowing you ordered because it slipped through the cracks. That's my responsibility. So that's my fault. But I just wanted to kind of highlight that, if in case you've noticed stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, is not necessarily, it's kind of out of certain people's control, and it can get in the way in glitching technology and getting in the way of connecting with people. That's like an unseen hand that seeks to frustrate or undermine, get in the way. So don't never take that personally. You just want to be more aware of it if this is a pattern for you. If not, then you can figure out what I said. But I just wanted to illustrate that, because not only is it very powerful, but you've had Saturn complete your Saturn return that you started like earlier in like 2005-ish. And 2020 was when it was in Capricorn and completed. Now you have Saturn finishing out your 11th house, which is 5th to your Libra Sun, putting you in a position to strengthen the talents that are weeding your social circle down. So Saturn going through your 11th will tighten your social circle, and it will get rid or let go of people who really waste your time or aren't really real. Like, they don't have integrity. They're not someone you can count on. But it's going to keep together the movers and shakers in your life. Now let's get into this transit. We're finishing Leo season, so we're going to do Virgo to Pisces. And this is going to bring you through the 6th house transit to the 12th house. Let me tell you why this is very exciting. You're going through a Jupiter 1st house transit. 2023 is when Jupiter will officially go through your 1st house. And it's going to zip through from January to May of 2023. Is going to go into Taurus and already begin to work on your 2nd house. But it's not going to officially go into your 2nd house until 2024, where you will manifest such potency in your money. This is amazing because the eclipse that we're having is in your 2nd house. You're going to transform your awareness of what your value is and who you can invest in. And this is going to get you stacks. This is going to get you very paid. Oh my God, this is going to get you very paid, because you put in a lot of work towards creating the relationship access in your dealings with others. So South Node in Scorpio is unlocking the support you get in the results of your partnerships for people to trust and invest in this golden value that you've been building. You planted the seeds in March and May for this new definition of your finances. And in the 2nd house, what you individually have and can manifest. This is probably going to look like something material, tangible. Maybe you can produce physical items for people, but whatever it is you're producing is hot on the market. And by the time we get to November, you will have now transformed the quality of people who want to buy into what you have, because that's the lesson for you. You are using other people's resources to manifest a newfound sense of wealth and money. Literally money, because it is in Taurus. I have 2nd house Gemini because I have a Taurus rising. So the 2nd house is the way you manifest. You paid me money so I can do what? Talk. And that's how I make money, because my 2nd house is Gemini. And so I manifest communication individually between me and you. You're similar. We both have individual personalities. You have the Aries rising. So people are going to pay you when you create or manifest something grounded, tangible, and physical. Is it limited to that? Not at all. But this is how, in a simple way, this is going to express. Unlike me, you don't have your sun in the 2nd house. So you focus this energy towards other people, taking what you have to express imbalances accordingly. And so Jupiter going through your 1st house is kicking you into a brand new 12-year cycle. Why is this important? Because now that it's going through your 12th house region, you shouldn't know what you're doing. Like, if you should most likely be lost right now. Will you be lost? No. And you have a Capricorn moon, so you know what's up. but you're not in a position where you've stepped into the first chapter. You're getting ready for a brand new 12-year chapter book, and this is you closing out the last chapter of the previous 12 years. Pause for dramatic effect. And so this retrograde, while Jupiter is opposite your Pluto now, is directly impacting the extreme quality of evolution that goes into the nature of partnerships you establish with people, where you awaken and innovate them towards elements of their own character with which they can bring out a balanced, polished version of. And I want to illustrate personally for me, when Jupiter went through my 12th house, I didn't know I was going to become the peace dealer. I didn't know what the heck I was doing in my life. Like the 12th house is your spiritual beliefs. So Jupiter releases that. And from January to May of 2022, you had a Jupiter return. So as a Libra sun, this fundamentally evolved and changed your lifestyle so that you can now sow the seeds towards creating a life that your dreams operate through and can facilitate to be made real. This in the 12th house is transcending the spiritual beliefs around yourself as an original warrior, as the one, you know what I mean? And this is releasing old spiritual beliefs that get in the way of this. Just like I had to release old spiritual beliefs around Christianity, and that's what led to me watching horoscopes, and that's what slowly but surely led to me being an astrologer. When it went through my first, and now I stepped into a new definition of who I am. This is happening for me again because Aries is my 12th house. So now that I've gone through this entire cycle, talking to you now because you've recognized my skills, I have now finished this first cycle of being a peace dealer, and I'm at a period where I'm not entirely sure exactly what I want to do next. And what this taught me was there's nothing you're supposed to do. You have to fully surrender. Me thinking that I had to do anything held me back. It was a form of sabotage. When realistically, as soon as that transit occurred in the first, every single step I had to take unfolded for me, just like a book opening. And so that's happening for you considerably dynamically. This Virgo season that we're stepping into is going to be the completion of Jupiter, Neptune, Sun, Moon in March of 2022 that was in your 12th house. And Virgo season is going to be the completion of the harvest of this transcendence of your lifestyle by now integrating newly defined habits coming into the new moon in Virgo next week that will quintessentially transcend the spiritual beliefs around how practically you not only live your life, but organize and bring into consciousness your behavior. What does that look like? The way you wake up, form your routine, work out, and now highlight important health issues to balance will fundamentally ground and become real as soon as we start Virgo season. And this is going to be a new moon cycle. So that means you're going to be applying new techniques, new tactics, even if it's like a small change to what you do. That small change is going to go such a long way. But it's not just a change. This is the completion and full manifestation of everything you've been changing for 6 months since March. Everything you've been releasing and transcending has now opened room for you to replace it with a brand new lifestyle. Because this is 12th house to your Libra sun, you're going to now be releasing spiritual beliefs around how you should live your life in light of the seeds you planted in March during the eclipse. In May in Taurus season during the eclipse, where Jupiter just entered Aries and began to sneak peek the personification of who you're evolving into. This is key because the eclipse in May planted seeds as far as the innovation of your worth. Because Uranus in your second house is radically having you manifest your infinity year status. Uranus is seen as crazy and unconventional, and that is the attitude and approach you want to have towards what you're worth. Regardless of what people think you're worth, you want to tune into what you know you're worth. And the square to Saturn in the 11th is strengthening the collective channels with which to invest in you by making sure only those with integrity aligned with what you're worth do not get in the way and instead support what you're manifesting, which is valuable to help feed the collective and vice versa. So this is what's going to account for the unexpected windfalls of income that are assured you. And coming up into November, any financial losses or struggle is making room for this sense of abundance. But I don't necessarily mean in a vague way where you're going to be abundant, as much as a literal practical expansion of what you make versus what you used to make, and using this expansion to facilitate the evolution of how you allocate this into your work and then beef up your career. So Virgo season is where you're going to start to connect the dots in order to facilitate the harvesting of this sense of your financial world. Because Venus will be coming out of Cancer and going through Leo, this is going to burn in your fifth very brightly and inspire you great creativity towards connecting with those who stimulate your inner child. And it's going to strengthen opposite Saturn by unconventionally innovating how uniquely you can hold space to strengthen said partnerships. So that by the time Venus goes into your seventh house in Libra, you're now establishing these partnerships, ready to move forward with them, as to before setting up the stage to actually, through experience, get to know the right people, get to know how to creatively express your inner child more, now that you've created the space through Leo season. Virgo season, once again, is very pivotal because this is going to be a huge game-changing season that for you will fundamentally take practical steps to not only change your routine, but literally change how your life looks. And now that's what leads us into Libra season. Libra season is going to bring us Saturn going direct in your 11th and Pluto going direct in your 10th. And I think one of the most fundamental aspects of this Pluto transit is that it's directly squaring you. And so you're feeling and you're rather more aware of the intensity. No, your Moon and Cap, you are feeling into the intensity too. Shout out to Moon and Cap gang, of the direct clash between your career direction versus where people and relationships take you. The Pluto square is an extreme reminder that you cannot let the collective around you undermine your efforts to move in the direction you want to move in, so that you're not caught in some weird tug of war where you're having to accommodate compromising with what other people want versus what you personally want to achieve. The square is going to break you through into a newfound sense of assertiveness so that you can address these collective issues that block you from career success and turn any weaknesses into strengths. It's a once in a lifetime aspect that you'll never go through once Pluto goes into Aquarius and starts to facilitate the trine to your Pluto, which will smooth out everything that this square so extremely, caused tension. What the square caused with extreme tension. And this is also breakthrough because Pluto squaring your Mars, your Sun, your Uranus. So this Libra season is going to kick in the second boss battle to address this. The first boss battle in Cancer season was breaking through with Saturn, the seriousness of approach to how sincerely you represent what you really feel behind closed doors within your own home, against collective mandates and opinions. So this was you standing on your own too, with your own reflections and ideas, so that you don't let the collective around you pressure you into being anyone else. Now the second boss battle is you bringing these ideals from home towards other people. How do you bring that individual stance socially towards other people? And Virgo season has changed your lifestyle. So you're going to bring this change of behavior and integrate it towards others in relationships. And this Libra stellium is going to be exceptionally activated. And the square to Pluto is going to be the last showdown before it goes into Aquarius towards you finally breaking through over the next 4 months, the influence that pushes outwards towards how you bring people in relationships to the top. Libra is especially known to bring those to the top as its cardinal focus is representative of the ground going up to space, Gemini to Aquarius. And so with the trine to Saturn in your 11th, this is going to strengthen in the collective around you partnerships in the 7th that you can move forward with and strengthen in the form of friendships that align with these goals that are moving forward accordingly. Jupiter's retrograde back in Aries will let you know, opposite Pluto, the extreme growth you've made in such a short amount of time as you've evolved this aspect of your personality. And it'll let you know, coming back around into next year, how you have to change into clothes that fit you more because now you've grown. And the clothes that used to fit you don't fit you anymore in a good way. This is going to now lead into Scorpio season, where we step into the eclipse of the results of partnerships, bearing into mind the value you've planted the seeds for. Libra season is you showcasing that to other people. Hey, this is what I'm worth. Hey, this is what I have. Scorpio season is now people's opportunity to invest officially. The 8th house, representing allocating other people's resources, takes your value in a second and it invests in other people you trust to multiply your income. It also represents other people taking their money and giving it to you so you can add it to your 2nd house. In between the 8th house and the 2nd is the 5th and the 11th. The courage to express yourself to an 11th house collective in order to mediate what they have versus what you have. So this Leo season was the checkpoint on stage to break through into the social axis to let others know what you have individually. Virgo season integrated it and put it all together. Libra season presented it towards other people. Scorpio season is you cashing in from November to May. And this eclipse is going to transform considerably how much deeper and closer you connect with people you trust. Hence the square to Saturn in Aquarius. That's going to challenge very considerably what level of integrity you must maintain so that proper boundaries will be drawn during this season towards people who don't recognize your value and you really don't need to waste your time with. We do know you have Mercury in Scorpio, so the trine that makes to Jupiter and Pisces expands the quality of how deep your wisdom can stretch through your imagination, anchored with the integrity of emotion of Saturn, making a fabulous grand water trine. So the retrograde of Jupiter back into Pisces during Scorpio season is going to give you a fundamental transformational approach to how you're transcending old beliefs around yourself. Because by this period, a lot of the changes that you will be directly aware of in your partnerships with people, now that your changed lifestyle is changing the partnerships you're having with people, it will show you how a change in your beliefs around yourself before that didn't make sense makes sense. So in March, when you were transcending these beliefs and you were realizing, you know what, I am not just a regular, and this probably wasn't what you're saying, but along the veins of, you know what, I'm not just a regular human being. I'm a celestial angel. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a very powerful angelic being, and you're believing these greater things about yourself. But now in October, you're seeing it. It's no longer just an idea. It's, oh, wow, I'm actually taking actions that show I am this celestial being. I am this genius. And so once it retrogrades back, now you're seeing how it applies, which helps you transform even greater. And then boom, we go into Sagittarius season. That's going to uplift this conflict into the light of Sagittarius, aligned with your destiny. And so it's going to bring to light everything in the dark of the 8th in Scorpio you've transformed, and it's going to now take the element of your lifestyle you've changed in Virgo season and begin to integrate that into your philosophy. So you'll be in a position to begin to teach and show and lead by example how the nature of your behavior is now impacting your way of life and now impacting the collective around you. This will transform the nature of your finances now that you're coming into the results of who's beginning to invest in what you have. Returning to May to where you're going to come into a huge financial blow up and breakthrough because now everything is set in place. The end of Sagittarius season will bring Jupiter going into Aries, and that will bring in Capricorn season, the final boss battle, where the conjunction to Pluto will have you overcome once and for all any extreme limitations and blockages towards fully establishing this career success that you're awakening into greater ground. And that's going to lead by March into Pluto going into Aquarius. But of course, before then, we'll go into Aquarius season and we'll complete the final conjunction with Saturn in your 11th, showing you how much you've strengthened the integrity and value of your social circle of friends and the movers and shakers you're ready to move forward with. It's a lot to look forward to, because in preparation to this transcendence of your entire lifestyle, Pisces season will now complete what that actually looks like and prepare for you to move forward into Aries season accordingly. Aries season, of course, which by April will see Jupiter on your Chiron with the sun, fully stepping you into this brand new first house chapter, and you're stepping into 12 years of solid evolution. So I want you to think that everything before April of 2023, you don't have to know what exactly is happening. You're going to get all the details you need September of 2022. But once we step into March of 2023 and Saturn's getting ready to go into Pisces, everything's preparing you for that. By the time we step into April, that's when you start the brand new chapter. So everything is setting you up for that, and you just want to fully surrender. Don't feel like you have to actually know exactly what step to take, because that's going to be the decision where you will have the change of belief to know what direction to take in March, after we fully transcended and transitioned and we're ready to step into the beginning of the end of the world and fully encapsulate, in your case, the embodiment of this raw, original warrior, expressed through the classic artistic polish of Libra, that coming into 2023 will completely innovate how much more expansively and boldly you express all of this. I hope you enjoyed this transit forecast. Thank you so much for your patience. Definitely looking forward to your feedback. And yeah, I look forward to the rest of this year for you. I think it's going to be miraculous. And I think it's going to transition you into stepping into this brand new cycle that's going to really facilitate so much success and growth that you've been working very hard for, and preparing you by May of 2024 to expand your finances in unconventional ways that one can only dream of. You stay blessed as always. And until next time, peace.